Hello, you probably know who I am by now, but I go by the name of Ulfrvif in the Therian community, and welcome back to another Therian Nation video. This is the second Q&A video. I asked members of the community to send in their questions on various social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Amino. I also asked people on a couple Therian forums. So here's the more personal questions that I received. I had a few people ask me about my awakening. Explain your awakening. Can you remember when exactly you discovered your Therioside, that you were a Therian? What was it like? What age did you awaken, and do you think that affected anything that you believed as a Therian? I think I've written quite a few blogs in the past about my Therian awakening and my experiences. I can try to link to some of my blogs down below the video or below the video transcript. You can look for those there. Basically, to try to summarize everything, one day in high school, I just remembered feeling a tail and ears, a muzzle, fur on my body, and I didn't understand what was happening to me. I had not encountered the Therian community or any other Therianthropes online before it happened. So I went online to try to figure out what I had experienced and try to find information. Thankfully, I did find a couple Therian forums that led me to phantom shifting. I'm pretty sure that's what I had experienced. So I was very happy to find people who had experienced what I had. So I think I was 13 or 14 at the time that I had this first phantom shift. I still did not accept it completely right away. There was lots of questioning for many years, and doubt. I doubted it for a long time. Does age affect belief in Therianthropy? Yes, I was fairly young when I awakened, but I didn't spend a lot of time online. I just kind of perused the forums. I gathered some information that I needed, and then I kind of went offline a lot to figure things out for myself. So I wasn't really influenced by interacting with other Therians a lot. I'm still learning new things about Therianthropy and myself into adulthood. I don't think we should ever stop questioning or being curious about our existence. Do I think age is a factor? Yes, I think it is. Our brains and personalities and our likes and dislikes and characteristics about ourselves are constantly growing and changing throughout our lives. Our brains are still growing. I believe it's until we're in our early 20s. That could be why we see a lot of younger members change their Theriosides a lot. When they start to awaken, they still don't have a lot of life experience yet. They don't have a lot of behaviors to look back on, to attribute to one animal or another. So that just means that they don't really have a good idea of what non-human species they are yet. So all that comes with time. Doodlebug wanted to know, how do I keep in touch with my Theriotype? So first I want to mention that this means keeping in touch with my inner animal self. Theriotypes or Theriosides are not something outside of us. They're not an independent entity. Theriotypes are us, they're a part of us. So keeping in touch with this part of myself can be hard because usually working and chores and stuff come first. I do enjoy hiking and camping and canoeing. I enjoy being outdoors, and usually this kind of gives me time to unwind and I can mental shift if I want to. I do enjoy going for walks and runs with my dog. A lot of music can help me feel good too. Right now I'm into Nordic folk and even like folk metal or Celtic metal. Electronic and psytrance can really help me change my state of mind. The beats in those music can really help you get into a different state of consciousness to help you shift. And that music can really kind of help me separate myself from my worries and my concerns of the day, and I can just relax and go inside of myself. And finally, I do enjoy chatting with other Therianthropes and being online and just interacting with other people in the community. Pink Dolphin said, did your life as a Therian ever interfere with your standard human life? AKA such as your boss figuring out you're Therian and judging you, non-Therian friends abandon you over it, etc. As far as work and my professional life, I've never had an employer find out. Most people just think I like wolves, and I leave it at that. But I'm not open about my therianthropy in a work setting like that. Therianthropy is something I consider very personal, and it's just my own inner existence, and other people don't really need to know about that, so I keep it really personal. I have told a few friends and had mixed results. One friend I told in college, and it went really well. He was open and accepting to it. We're still very good friends to this day. He's actually very cat-like, but he's never used the term Therian for himself. But I think one thing that makes friendship work when you tell that friend about it is that you tell them once, maybe twice, and then you stop bringing it up. You know, if you tell them once and they accept it, then they accept it, and they don't need to hear about it every day or they're going to get sick and tired of it. So, yeah, if you have a friend that's like, okay, cool, then don't keep putting it in their face or they're going to get annoyed. So I've told a couple other people, and the relationships that I'd had with those people were kind of not positive anyway. And then I kind of needed to distance myself from those people, not just because, one didn't believe me at all about Therianthropy and the other one did. The one who did believe me actually just kind of started treating it like role play and started calling me the alpha and the leader, and I didn't appreciate that. You could tell he didn't take it seriously. In both of those cases, I just needed to distance myself from those people anyway, and I think it was for the best. I did briefly tell my mother once, and she was just like, okay, that's fine, but just make sure that you can get along with other people. I believe I was really a quiet person and introverted in high school, and she was just concerned about me being lonely and not being able to function in society. So it's kind of good advice on my mom's part. Well, what I told her was that I had a wolf soul. I might not have even had the term Therianthropy or Therianthrope at the time. I just told her that I had a wolf soul. And again, I think it worked out because I just mentioned it once, and then I let it go, and then I never mentioned it again. So, you know, I didn't bug her or annoy her about it. And that's usually why it works out for the best. No Name said, what is Therianthropy like for you? How do you go about your daily life knowing you are a Therian? Do you always acknowledge your wolf side when doing daily routines and errands? Is it important to you? Are you always in a Therianthropic mindset throughout every day? I don't think we should be focusing on Therianthropy or being a Therian 100% of the time. We definitely should not be obsessing over it because that's not healthy. We need to be able to focus on other aspects of our lives too. I consider myself a vacillant Therian. My shifts are not very strong anymore, but I do have them. So yes, I am always kind of in a wolfish mindset, and it's kind of ingrained into my personality now. Or at least I attribute my behaviors and mindset to that of being wolf-like. You know, I really don't ask other people in my life, hey, do I seem normal? Because that would be weird. I just let myself be. I actually think it's important to not focus on Therianthropy all the time. If we focus on it, we could be tricking ourselves into feeling that. So it's good to just be ourselves and just let ourselves kind of unfold and just take note of that and be mindful of it. We need to feel that animal within us without thinking about it all the time. It is a little tough for me to be at work in the same place 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. I do get restless sometimes. To alleviate that, I try to be active as much as I can. I'm in the upper floor of where I work, so I try to take the stairs whenever I can. To get some exercise, I try to move around when I can. I'm a graphic designer, so I'm mostly sitting at a computer, but I also used to work in production side of things. Sometimes if I get restless, I go downstairs and to the production area. I actually help those employees with orders that need to get done, and I work in production for an hour or two. I did struggle with my awakening and accepting that I was a Therian when I was younger. But now, you know, I actually think the struggle and some things I've gone through have made me a better person overall. Cass asked me if I've ever mistaken a Therioside. At this point, at the recording of this video, the answer is no. The circumstances of my life and my awakening meant that I just kind of knew what I was. I knew that I was a wolf inside. For many years, I did question whether or not I was a Therianthrope. I questioned the belief in Therianthropy as an explanation for my experiences. But I knew that if the underlying belief of Therianthropy stayed with me, and the identity of being a Therianthrope stayed with me, then my Therioside would be a wolf. Have I questioned being a polytherian? Yes, I've kind of looked for other animals that kind of explain who I am, but nothing has really fit as well as wolf has. Wolf just kind of encompasses everything that I experience. I'm okay with having just one Therioside, or I'm okay with just having one animal identity. A member of the community who wanted to remain anonymous said, "In your adult life, have you ever felt that you needed to grow up out of Therianthropy? Or have you always been okay with your identity?" Again, no, I've not always been okay with the belief of Therianthropy or the identity of being a Therianthrope. It was during the process of awakening that I questioned the most. I was glad that I found other people online. I was happy that I found other Therianthropes, but sometimes I still thought, oh, I'm crazy, this can't be possible, this can't be real. I was pretty critical of myself. But it's been with me for a long time now, for many years. So at this point, I've pretty much accepted it. But I will add that, yeah, I almost even outright denied it sometimes, but denying it isn't good. It's best to kind of not completely accept it. You have to question it. But denying it isn't good because it just always comes back stronger if you really are a Therian. But when it comes back stronger, it's usually almost in an unhealthy way. Shifts are kind of uncontrollable. So it's best just to be yourself. The process of coming to terms with being a Therianthrope, it can be a lengthy process. Do I ever feel like I need to grow up? No. I've always considered myself more mature. Even as a teenager, I was more mature than most of my classmates. As an adult, I'm still more mature and level-headed than a lot of the people that I know. So I don't think we need to grow up because of Therianthropy. There are a lot of adults in the community, whether active or not. And I don't think maturity is directly related to identifying as a Therianthrope. Phelan asked, what do you think about Howl Month? I definitely think that Howl Month is a much better name than something like Therian or Kin Pride. Pride should be reserved for LGBTQ plus peoples because they had to go through a lot of hardship and fight for their rights. Our community was built up on people meeting together in real life as much as online. So I think it would be really nice if more of us could meet together in person again. However, the majority of our community that is active is fairly young, and there kind of becomes some issues with much older individuals like myself meeting much younger teenagers. So we have to be careful about that. I think most Therians today find it easy to find a furry convention near them that's already organized and all meet there. At furry conventions, there's usually lots of security around and helpful people that you can go to if something goes wrong during the meeting with these other people or you don't feel safe. So that's definitely a positive about furry conventions. I think it can be a safer environment. Instead of just meeting random people at a random place that you might not be familiar with. Yeah, so, maybe you want to try to go to a furry convention first, instead of trying to organize something yourself. Amarok asked, do Therian cringe compilations bother you? I do think it's unfortunate that these cringe compilations get a lot more views and attention than, say, the educational videos I make here on Therian Nation. These cringe compilations are probably usually causing people to form a bad first impression of us, and bad first impressions can be hard to change, even if they happen because of incorrect information or false representation. Even though I don't really want these videos to bother me, I think the implications that they have for our community should be taken seriously. Another anonymous member said, "What is it like to be a Greymuzzle and a spokesperson of the community? Why did I decide to become an ambassador? What is it like to be the face of the community, and do you get many haters?" I have had quite a few people call me Greymuzzle recently. It's still not a title that I would call myself just yet. I still think I have some things to learn about Therianthropy and our history, and I'm always learning new things about myself. Greymuzzle and ambassador are definitely not titles to be taken lightly. They are titles with a lot of responsibility and the commitment to help others. It's not easy, and it's very time consuming to try to interact with the community in as many places as possible because there are a lot of social media platforms. It can also be frustrating sometimes. It can be difficult to phrase information in a way that people will be more open to it, especially if they are believing in incorrect information from the beginning. So we need to phrase things in a way so that hopefully people are open to at least thinking about it and considering it. But sometimes I do still phrase things more bluntly than I should, and it's a difficult tightrope to walk. On that note, I'm definitely not infallible. Of course, obviously, I still have emotions and opinions too. There are some things in the community that I feel strongly about. But I think it's important to be open and honest. I still need to try to share some of my own experiences more often. But I'm usually a modest person. Because I am actually shy and introverted, I struggled with whether or not I should start this channel and whether or not I should be more vocal and active in the community. I don't want the attention or the spotlight at all. So if not for those things, then why am I more active in the community and why do I have this channel? I just want people to have access to better information. A few years ago, I saw that the community seemed to be lacking in older active members and more educated members. So I thought that I needed to step up and help if I could. With my knowledge as a graphic designer, I was hoping that I could present information about Therianthropy in a way that would hold people's interest but not be cringy. I'm still kind of working on this and trying to tweak it as well. It's not easy. I wouldn't say that I have any haters, but I definitely received opposition when I told some people that I wanted to be more vocal and public about Therianthropy. However, I did receive more support than opposition, so I decided to go ahead with the project, and I've been steadily working on it for many years now. I have not officially acted as an ambassador in any capacity outside of the Therian community. I have not been contacted by news or any media outlets about interviews or anything like that. If that day comes, I will represent the community as a diplomat should. I will represent the community professionally and with everyone else's interest at heart. Again, this is not for any personal gain. I would definitely be stepping outside of my comfort zone. There is a lot of preparation work that I should still be doing. As I answer people's questions throughout the community and I create these videos, I'm honing my language skills and developing how I describe Therianthropy and other Kennedy and how I explain it. But there's always room for improvement in that area. I don't like politics, but I am aware that politicians are aware of us and our beliefs. hopefully we never need to represent ourselves at a legislative level, but we need to be prepared in case that day does happen. To be more prepared, I should be brushing up on politics and how those systems work and function. I also need to be building better relationships with some other Therians and other kin in the community who also might be willing to step up and be more public about representation. These individuals are also very educated about our history. So I need to be opening myself up to work less independently and more as a group with other Therians and other kin. Under the video, you're going to find a link for an article called Good Qualities of an Ambassador. I found this while considering things that I needed to know to help the community. So I just want everyone to know that all of these things are in the back of my mind, and there's a lot of work to be done. I am willing to take on these challenges and this responsibility to help everyone to the best of my ability. That's all the questions that I received about my more personal Therian experiences and my life as a Therian. Don't forget that there was also a video that answered general questions from the community. So don't forget to check that video out. If you have any further questions, you can always send me a message, an email, contact me on any of the social media that I'm on, or leave a comment on the video. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you're doing well, and see you again next time.